Thank you. Very good afternoon to all of you. This session on resilience through innovation, exploring how PSUs can leverage innovation to adopt changing market dynamics to deliver value to stakeholders. I am going to keep it very fast forward because of time constraint, and thanks to our photographer. Taken another 5 minutes to do the setup. We're okay with this. In this session, I'm just going to put up in context so that we would be able to understand what type of resilience we are meaning here. We have spoken about the digital infrastructure in previous 2 sessions. So I'm not going to repeat the same song again and again that we should be digital, we should be on the cyber security side. I'm going to take the discussion forward to the larger and the bigger picture where we are mostly challenged by certain type of talent, certain type of challenge, and certain type of deficit of intel. What are these deficit of intel when it comes to a country of our size is how do we mitigate the pathway of these new changes, reforms and upgradations. These pathways are definitely dependent, highly dependent I would say, on new technologies, emerging technologies which we need to adopt. And when we are adopting new technologies, 4 common things that we all feel and we all face is number 1, standardization, certifications, regulations and rule book. So being a piloting agency for emerging technologies, heading ease of doing business from last 10 years, I have not seen a single pilot project of ease of doing business which can escape this first gap of emerging technologies landing. So be it drone, be it 3D printing, electric mobility, hydrogen, anything or battery, quantum computing, big data, AI, IoT, each one of them has the first teethering problem that you can conclude by saying rule book, standardization, certifications and other basic regulatory affairs. Second is financing. To a certain extent, sometimes we believe and we feel that PSUs do not have issues of finance. However, it is absolutely not true. They also need to look into their books. They also need to understand that whether this emerging tech, which is coming to change the way they have been doing business from a long period of time, are supporting and are viable, bankable. It is possible to do insurance and it is also possible to assetize them or not. Third, not so less important is how are we going to place the commercial equivalence. You have to give your commercial equivalence to your parent ministries. Tell them that this tech we were not using, this particular advancement of technologies was not in the mass deployment of practice. Now when we are going to use it, this is the money we are going to save, this is the time we are going to save, and this is the way we have been doing precision, transparency, data, something of it is going to come out of. Last is the adoption. Adoption could be individual, it could be institutional, it could be corporate, it could be people, it could be consumer, it could be citizen, anybody. So all these 4 problems, what we do, how we make rule book, how we do financing, how we do commercial equivalence, and last but not least, how we convince our user group to do it. How do we do this? All of you in the room is well informed that we do it by creating a policy for this. And how do we bring this policy? Is by having an intel company or having a consulting company to a sort of time, because sometimes we are in lack of our own understanding about the tech. This is the point where I want to start this conversation. Who do such consultings? Companies from outside India? Companies who have IIT, IIM students who has studied and gone from here? Companies who tell us that we have data, we have precision, we have a precedence, they have beautiful presentations, they have beautiful understanding and good large multinational networks. And they tell us that how to run our country, how to PSU should do the procurement, how should they do financing, what should be the model. So this gap of intel to take a new emerging technology in a large deployment is being faced by each one of them, each one of us. And this lack is being by deployment of a foreign consulting agency. I'm not accusing any of them. By nature or by precedents, you have seen that by 2014 and plus, beyond 2014, when a lot of high worth infrastructure project were investigated, that why all of these have PIL against them, is because of some NGO who is foreign funded. They came and they filed some PIL. This has been a international agenda. Look at your indicators of global indices. Look at your ranking into global market. This all gives us certain type of intelligence that a lot of countries, I don't want to name, are not very happy with the steady growth of India. We are 5th largest economy. It is very pertinent. It is very obvious to have enemies, to have powers across border to disturb our tracking and disturb our steady growth. At this stage of time, it is very, very important for us to have our own consulting or intel on how we make sure that the landing of an emerging technology is smooth, is viable, is bankable, and it's in a very well augmented manner of adoption for a large deployment. That's the point from where I start my conversation, that where are we placed, where are we going, and how are we prepared for this. So we'll start with you, ma'am. First your introduction, and then what your organization does, and then we'll slowly come down to question answers. Your microphone.
I'm Dr. Namrita Kalsi. At present, I am a Chief Architect of Haryana Mass Rapid Transport Corporation Limited, and also have the charge of Chief Architect, Gurugram Metro Rail Limited. So if we talk about innovation, that was the question that was posed to me by the organizers. See, it is very difficult. Difficult it is because the metro is an established technical system in which most of the innovation has already taken place. The metro has been successfully delivered in Delhi, in Noida, and if we see the region in Gurugram, Ghaziabad, we go to next state in Maharashtra, even it is now coming up in, Madhya Pradesh, Patna, Lucknow. So what you can do? And the challenge that we are facing is that if most of the innovation has taken place, because a lot of intelligent and hard-working people and professionals and work together, whatever the problems were, they are already solved, they are already implemented, then what should we do? Especially when the standardization in the metro is already being spearheaded by the ministry. So this is the challenge which we are facing. In the next question, I'll answer that how we have planned to go ahead. So if you are in my place, just think, since we are at the beginning of the organization, it was just formed last month, what route we should take? So I leave that question till the mic comes back to me again.
Over to you, sir.
I'm Dr. Suneel Kumar Sharma. I'm presently working as a Director Production in Braithwaite and Company Limited. I'm also having additional charge of Executive Director Quality Assurance in RDSO, that is Research Design Standards Organization, which is a research wing of Indian Railways. The same question goes to me?
No, I'm right now not asking question. Right now the normal notion is how, when it is coming to adopt a new technology or new reform, how are you placed, your organization, what it does, and what is your routine culture?
That's a very pertinent question. I'm working in Braithwaite as a Director Production, and our product line is quite diverse. We make different type of wagons. We also manufacture big cranes, bridges, foot-over bridges. We are also diversifying into new business like renewables, solar energy, and also into solar infrastructure. In our company, we are having very positive climate towards adoption of new technology as well as towards innovation. The thing is that innovation, resilience, these are the concepts which are very loosely defined, and emergent technology adoption is also an area where if you go through the research literature, how a company can adopt it, there is no standard guideline. The same goes for every organization, PSU or private sector organization. But what we found that innovation and adoption of new technology is giving result to us. In the sense, we have developed a new type of wagons which are patent in the name of my company. We are also coming out with a new kind of transportation solution to freight transportation industry. So what we have done is we have identified the people who are having that kind of mindset, and the leadership is inclined towards investing in the resources to facilitate their experimentation from, let's say, design to pilot, pilot to laboratory, laboratory to field.
All in-house?
All in-house.
Wow, wonderful.
And in recent time, we have also started with collaborating our private partners. One example is GetX. So we have designed a new kind of wagon which is suitable for carrying multiple commodities.
Wonderful.
So these are a few experiences I wanted to share. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Wonderful to hear. Lot of Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Suneel Wattal. I work for MPSEDC. We are a government body, government entity. We do application development and implementation for all projects, all e-governance projects across MP. So I'm based in Noida. We have a Noida Development Center. I head the Noida Development Center. Basically, it's a small center. We're working on all e-governance applications, multiple platforms. We work on multiple technologies. And when it comes to innovation and emerging technologies, we are actually adopting a lot of latest technologies. A lot of work is happening in that direction, especially with the focus from my team on adopting latest technologies. There's a lot of work happening on that, and I'll be talking about it once we come to the question round. I think that's all.
I will have many follow-up questions from somebody from Center of Excellence, because I think as an industry, we look forward to Center of Excellence to serve a lot of intel issue, particularly in the high-tech segment of technologies. Thank you, sir. Groverji.
Thank you. I am Manish Grover, Executive Director, Strategic IS at Indian Oil Corporation. As we know that this company is the largest in the energy sector in India, from upstream to downstream. And with regard to the way energy sector operates, which is highly, prone to a lot of changes in times. So 5-6 years ago, we have adopted this way to do a strategy to go digitalization in our company, with a view to adopt the emerging technologies to take care of the vagaries of the business and many such things in which we operate. So we created this team, which is being headed by me, which is called iDrive team, under which the way we go about doing entire thing, as you were asking and saying, how do we go about doing these things? And so first of all is the self-analysis of identifying the process gaps, the gap analysis. So that happened in 17, 18, and the gaps were identified. And then at the point of time, you were mentioning about enrolling a strategic consultant in our team, who in various phases of consulting from phase 1 to phase 2 to phase 3, we have gone about practicing and implementing the strategy which we have implemented to take care of the gaps. Apart from the gaps which we started at 79 at that point of time in refineries, pipelines, in various other sectors, today we are at 230 plus initiatives which we have come to today. And apart from the gaps, we do process mapping to see the redundancies in the system, the gaps which are available. We do lots of brainstorming, and problem statements are taken out of the people from business. The technologies are there, we introduce the technologies, and the problem statements are being resolved through adoption of these technologies. So most of the things what we have gone and attained success is through this process, because we are there to provide business solutions. Right. We just don't implement technology. And by implementing that, what we are trying to do is, the RFP contains the benefit analysis itself, how we are moving from a baseline method to a 2B method, and what I am going to benefit, whether in terms of man-hour savings, whether in terms of the process savings, or my entire yield optimizations which can come through these processes. So this is how we have gone about doing all these things, and while we implementing, we have touched all my chains from supply chain to process, to operations, to marketing, and entire business lines which goes right up to the customer. So these all things are part of the things which we do and entail all my technologies, whether it's AI, ML, GenAI, RPAs, blockchains, and 70 to 80 COTS tools which we employ to look at my monitoring systems.
Wonderful. Such an elaborated tech landing in such a large size muscle power PSU sounds like a music to us. Wonderful, sir. Thank you so much. Moving ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Amit, Narayan, and I have served ONGC for 37 years before I superannuated 2 months back only, and I have served mostly in upstream oil and gas. ONGC doesn't need any introduction, and just to put the things in perspective, this company, which started way back in 1951, has matured from drilling wells to the depth of 1,000 meters to 6,000 meters, from a development of Bombay High way back in 74 in a water depth of 100 meters, to the recent development of deep water project in 𝗧𝗿𝗃𝗃 project in the east coast in a water depth of 2,000 meters. A company or industry which was known for the blowouts till few years back or few decades back is now capable of handling the subsurface pressure in excess of 15,000 psi and temperatures in excess of 400 degrees. So this is the kind of migration which has taken place, and this is primarily because of induction of new technologies from time to time. From steel structures to floating structures to subsea architecture. So basically, like any other PSU, what you also rightly pointed out, there is a challenge in induction of technology, primarily because of the processes. We can't just go to the market and pick up any technology which we like at any price. We have to follow a process of procurement. We are bound by that. And secondly, the prices, like cost. Every technology in oil and gas industry is highly price sensitive. It is very, very costly. Now there is a paradox. Whenever oil prices go up, companies ideally invest in building up the capacity or investing in the technology, but that is not the case with Indian PSUs. It's the other way around. The more the international prices are, more we bleed, because we have to pay more taxes to the government in the form of windfall taxes. So we can't really invest in the technology when the market is high. So we have to adopt a cautious approach. So to ease these things, our company has adopted a three-pronged approach, that we have a technology scouting cell. We identify the technology which is fit for our purpose, and we have a special dispensation by an empowered committee to induct that technology, even through nomination rule. So this is how we are progressing, and the company is doing well, and this East Coast is going to add another 10% to the national oil and gas production. So other things I'll add in the subsequent session. And from a historically E&P company, exploration production company, the company has now matured to an integrated energy major which has presence in downstream, that is refining, petrochemicals, power, renewables, hydrogen, you name the thing, and we are there. So this has all been possible because of induction of right technology at the right time to remain relevant in the industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Narayan.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Amit Singh, and I work with Deloitte, and we at Deloitte, provide range of services to public sector clients, including PSUs, like, consulting to begin with, then the risk advisory, financial advisory. And in short, we help them in their digital transformation journey, whether it's a digital and management put together, all kind of transformation journey. Deloitte is there, and we help. We have been one of the oldest and largest Big Four globally, and one of the largest professional services organization.
Thank you, Amit ji.
Hello, good afternoon. I am 𝗧𝗿𝗃𝗃. I'm Group General Manager in Center for Railway Information Systems, body of railways. I think like many other PSUs, railways doesn't need any introduction, what it does and how it does. We as an organization provide the digital or IT backbone of the Indian Railways. In terms of innovation, I will say most of the digital innovation happens outside of the government. I mean, the private sector is building services, products, and all that digital management products, which we need to implement. So we are basically in a permanent catch-up mode. New technologies keep on getting introduced, and we have to get them into our system, get them delivered to users, then maintain it as well. My take on how to do innovation better is, innovation is from the business side. Normally, what business needs and how business can sell that innovation to the users or the customers. The people like us who are in the infrastructure or the back end need to support it in a safe, resilient manner. So one part of the discussion is resilience. So in that manner, I wanted to say a few words is that most of the digital innovation today is based on data, what we have or what we collect or what we manage. But most of the time in the rush to make some innovation and all that, we forget that this data which is to be managed for the business needs to be safe, accurate, quality, etc., things.
Right.
So sometimes the innovation goes wrong, and then the IT is blamed for.
Absolutely, sir. Very valuable prescription. I will come back to you. Take more prescription. Let Mr. Saad
Sorry
also.
if I have
no
taken
problem.
more time.
No issue, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mohammed Saad. I represent 𝗖cie Solutions. I am the senior DGM government business. I handle government business for India and Bangladesh. When it comes to the company, I hope it doesn't need any introduction. 𝗖cie is known for their accounting solutions, synonymous to accounting. We are here in the space for almost 35 years plus now. We are known for giving accounting softwares. So if you talk about 𝗖cie, the very first statement which comes in the mind is accounting software, right? So that's the image we have built over a period of time, and because of the reason that we have primarily addressing to SME segment.
Right.
We have a large user base today in India and across the globe. We operate from around 100 countries today. Having said so, we have a licensed user base of almost 2.5 million licensed users today, and the total number of users crosses around 6 million plus. Having said so, coming to this particular topic, as I said, I handle government business for the company. We closely work with central government, state governments, and PSUs also. Specific to PSUs, we help them, support them in automation of their financial function and compliance management. More on PSU, sir, I would reserve my few more views.
No, but your views are going to be very, very important once we are going to talk about viability of a new technology. So I'll come back to you. We are only left with now less than half an hour. Let's start the conversation with very typical to the point question. How can public sector define innovation in context of their organization? So we'll start with Mr. Amit from Deloitte, because he has been consulting to a lot of PSUs. Also from Deloitte point of view, it's a consulting agency. What is a definition of innovation for him and also for the client agencies. These two, very briefly.
No, thank you. So I'll keep it brief to the point. One is, if you look at Dr. Sharma said in the morning that PSUs have got one of the brightest minds, right? And also I would like to add that PSUs have the kind of capacity and parallel to what, other sectors have. So what is happening in the PSUs, obviously, the government is also kind of, pulling back nowadays. They're not talking about disinvestment, so they're seeing a lot of values. But the innovation, the problem behind the innovation is, I would say, what we are seeing in the market is the design obsolescence, right? So in the morning, industry presenter said, we can make in India, why can't we design in India?
Absolutely.
So the designing part is very important for Indian PSUs, and also it is very difficult to generalize all PSUs. They come in different form and shape, the kind of industry which they have worked. However, these industries have to move, I think PSUs have to move from this transfer of technology method, I would say, so that we can own the design part and we can continue the, from design to production, because what is happening that we are catching up.
Yeah.
Because we take the, product and then we take years to kind of, perfect that, and then we start manufacturing. By the time the industry is already moved on. So we are already catching up, right? So in terms of that. And generally the innovation culture does not find much favor because it's a high risk taking.
Right.
So what is happening that, the culture in terms of, the product, and last point is, and I have seen PSUs have got good product, however they lack ability to market, right? So I think this all put together.
So design takes us to R&D.
Yes.
Maybe investment in R&D, maybe
I'll
more.
just add to one point, what is the R&D part of it, generally is ignored.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying generalized statement, but kind of, important it should get within the PSUs, so that, they can, take it to the larger scenario and complete the production
And second,
cycle.
you said go-to-market strategy means necessarily commercialization of emerging tech.
It is commercialization, also it is acquisition, because the design obsolescence is leading to a slow acquisition. So what happens that, because you are still stuck with the old methods of procurement, etc. So this acquisition takes a lot of time. Whereas at PSUs, we believe that they should move towards more of the JV approach, rather than, just being stuck with the same, the old methods of procurement. If we go to the JVs kind of, approach, we involve more industry startups, I think they will move faster than, the current pace.
Right. So on same question, before we move to the next question, Sunil Vattal ji, you will be able to come up and give some insight about Mr. Sunil Vattal. You are here. Okay. Sorry. So you will be able to give us more insight on the Center of Excellence, because Center of Excellence was supposed to be giving at least one answer to this question.
So I think as a Center of Excellence, we build up competency in various technologies. And when we talk about innovation, I think innovation goes hand in hand with emerging technologies. And it's both ways, it cuts both ways. The innovation starts from the domain expertise. The domain decides how to get into innovative practices, both from a business perspective. And then when you actually go down to ground level, you translate in terms of solutions which come out with emerging technologies. So, and my scope has been, we mostly work on the e-governance arena. In e-governance arena, there's a lot of scope for innovation, but however, the problem is that there's at a lot of times we feel reluctance from people, we feel reluctance from stakeholders. So to get the stakeholder buy-in, to get the acceptability of these solutions, you may have innovative solutions, but for users, and especially if these are citizen-centric applications, for acceptability, to get people to accept those solutions is an uphill task, but it is an uphill task.
Kind of change in culture.
Yeah, it is.
So
There's a huge reluctance to change, both from the people who use those systems and the citizens.
So any one, I think we have more than 3 large PSUs on the panel. What is the challenge of adopting culture of innovation in PSU, within PSU? Because he's been doing, because Center of Excellence is supposed to be owning that, and they are doing it very well. Yeah. In PSUs, what is the challenge? I think IOCL, Hindustan Petroleum, anybody can pick up and tell us that what is the challenge that we are facing in fostering that culture of innovation within PSUs?
I find the culture of innovation in a company like ours and maybe ONGC in adopting and fostering innovation is very high, point number one. In terms of digital technology itself, like we did create this center of excellence which we are heading here for adopting the new technologies, that is point number one, in which we have gone about looking at all the emerging techs, create COEs for AI ML, create COEs for GPT, create COEs for RPAs, and in that fashion adopt all the relevant technologies which were relevant to us from supply chain management till sale of product to my customers. In terms of R&D, since we are a PSU, we look at not only business, we look at social things as well. So we are supposed to provide my product to the last person in the country at a value which is the cheapest also. So looking at that point and the new products which we are trying to innovate through R&D, which he was mentioning here, there are a lot of investments which go into R&D centers and new centers also coming up, be it biofuels, be it hydrogen, be it a lot of lubes. There are patents which were more than 3,000 which have been patented by the R&D team of ours. We are incubating startups, we are helping them, and these startups only and along with the academia which is there, we have gone about doing certain initiatives which are landmark in our own way, which are in terms of flare management, in terms of predictions in changing my heat exchangers. So a lot of things what we do here, and innovation is one of the most parts in which a lot of emphasis is being put today. In case we are able to save, let's say if I am able to integrate a supply chain which is the world's largest and most complex in terms of buying my crude from 347 places and create a model which will give me the most ideal way to buy my crudes, and then also have my crude scheduler to let me know where my ships are today, which builds so much resiliency into my system to cut down on all my shutdowns which can happen because of all these things, and then do the process monitoring and the process optimization to create the yields which are required in the market to take care of the vagaries in the demand. We bring about these changes through RPS, the refinery production schedulers. So in terms of innovations as far as PSUs are concerned, and in terms of the refineries and the technologies which we have brought in, I think today time is there that innovation challenges are there in terms of when I come to the management and the employees. So we engage all employees into all these activities through various challenges, various hackathons in terms of digital technologies, and most of the solutions come through the problem statements thrown by them.
Absolutely. I think that very well suffices to the answer. Amit, Narayanji, you will be able to add something. Does it, because one add-on question to what I'm going to ask you is, to private sector competition is different, but to PSUs, does all this innovation, does all this bringing emerging technologies, does it add some resilience to competitiveness of a PSUs also?
Can you please repeat the question?
So for private sector, competition is different. For them, maybe second most rivalry may not or may have a emerging tech which is making them more apt or efficient. But in PSUs, competition is different. So does these new technologies bring some sort of resilience and some sort of edge competitiveness to you also?
Yeah, definitely. See, there are two things. If I talk particularly to oil and gas as a test case, now this industry is a high risk requiring high amount of capex.
Right.
Now technology is not there to counter a rival, because once you are drilling a well which is costing you hundreds of crores, so probably the new technologies which gives you more accurate information is going to give you a healthy well rather than drilling a dry well. So technology per se is adopted for three purposes in any organization broadly: to improve the efficiency or the accuracy of the operations what you do, probably cost efficiency, optimize the cost, reduce the cost, and the first and the foremost will be the safety. So oil and gas industry per se look for technologies to meet these three objectives so that the operations are safe, we drill at the minimum cost, produce at the minimum cost, and the level of accuracy is the highest. Rivals, we are not bothered because these are sort of monopoly industries where most of the PSUs are operating. So competition is per se not a consideration while choosing a technology.
Absolutely.
In our industry, competition is equally important. We are in an industry where private sector is equally there in the market. So to produce as a per ton cost of production matters to us a lot. That's why cost optimizations and how we operate every process to cut down on, when I invest a particular process and cut down all my costs which are on top of that, when a highest capex is there, one intervention can cost you and save you 500 or 600 crores of dollars.
Wow.
So if these kinds of things can happen, you can be positioned as a company which can globally market my product today, which I am also doing it.
So
unless I am competitively producing them, I won't be able to serve them.
So the decision taking is highly important, I think.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So this brings us to Mr. Singh in the conversation, that how do you think external partnerships, not within the PSU or within the government, but also to the private sector or to startups, helps PSU to bring not only culture, but also, like, majority of them, they have now came with PPP models. Many of them, they have came with innovative business models, which are participative, bringing also private capital to do large ticket size reforms like decarbonization, geospatialization. How do you look at it, external participation within and outside the PSU government organizations? Yeah.
The first thing that we have to think innovation in not only just digital things. So
absolutely.
We have to think innovation in terms of new material, new design, new control systems, as well as new product and new services. In this gamut of innovation and collaboration, an organization has to consider its core competency. And the competency which can be augmented to bring both resilience and profit. Resilience in terms of collaboration, अगर हम बात करें तो resilience में देखिए 4 चीज़ें हैं. The important thing is anticipative capacity, absorptive capacity, strategic capacity, and the leadership. The leadership has to think whether this is to be external, this is to be joint R&D, this is to be some other form of collaboration. And in our case, we find that competition is quite high when we build the wagons and sell it to the both government and private sector. Collaboration with big partners has helped us in streamlining our supply chain, in streamlining our processes, in sharing the risk so far as the new investment is concerned. So it depends upon what business you are into and where we are going to have this collaboration. Whether it is civil infrastructure, I'll work with a different mindset.
Right.
If it is my conventional core area where I can have more profits or more returns by focusing my own energy, I'll not go into that. But there are areas where I like to work, like say solar. I'm working with a startup. So that is giving us results. So
but this also involves a certain amount of cost, which is on R&D and also now I think on compliances also.
Compliances is very important and that carries cost. One example is that if you are engaging labor, you have to provide minimum wages, safety. If you are using data, so you have to use proper governance method of data so that you are regulating, you are not crossing the boundaries.
Correct. So this RailTel is also there on the panel. Namrita ji is also there on the panel. For you and for also RailTel, it is very important to have safety measures in place when you are doing a mass transportation, and if you are even trying and hyperloop and rapid rail, many bullet train or some more things comes up, maybe transportation from air, transportation from drone, anything and everything is there in the market. How do you ensure that these costs, which is the spending initially on bringing in emerging technologies to reach to that safety level, are to be taken? These calls need to be taken.
Actually, metro environment is already into cutting edge technologies of BIM, Revit and cloud combination. So under this combination, we have 1D, 2D, 3D, 4D up till nth dimension. So these are specific case sets depending on the requirement of the department. Like 1D, 2D, 3D is basically a domain of architect and civil engineer. Then next is the time, which space is shared by architect as well as engineer, who lays a parameter that you have to complete the work in time. Then we come to cost, vendor payments, material, procurement. But most important, what Abhijeet sir was saying was pertaining to safety. So which is basically covered under 5D. So safety can be of many types: safety during construction, safety during travel. So with this, the digital technology will take care of this part if we go through this software. But while selecting this software, we have not yet completed the life cycle. We have crossed the design stage, the construction stage, the GFC stage. But the ROD, that is rollout date, and the asset tagging stage is yet to come. It is during the operation and maintenance, where we will be looking at the safety of the commuters. See, many disruptive technology like AI has come in, but sitting where I am sitting, I feel that it is at this point of time too dynamic and too new to, base your serious technical, design on untested direction.
Right.
So what I feel is that let us first complete the life cycle of the cutting edge technology which the metro environment decided to adopt. And then once we have gone to the life cycle and we know the pros and cons.
And on this point, ma'am, I'm just putting you in pause.
It doesn't make sense that
Vijay Devnath sir will have to come in and tell us that do we have really in an economy like India to have complete life cycle of these technologies to be taken or given time at this stage of time when rapid changes and rapid requirement of urbanization is asking us more metro, more rapid rails, more multimodal connectivity. Your take, sir.
Yeah, quickly, the discussion is on innovation, okay? And there are PSUs here sitting who are a supplier of innovation to us. I will take an example of, say, a new kind of a lubricant which can extend the life of our assets, the rolling assets, by, say, twice or thrice. It will give us a cost optimization innovation, and which will help lower our prices to offer to the end customer, because the public is the end customer and they want the things at the cheapest cost. So that will be a big innovation for railway sector, whereas the innovating company will be the oil PSU or the lubricant producing PSU. Now, to get into that innovative product, we need to see that how it will come. There will be chemical engineers which are supposed to be doing research on PhD or something, R&D on that particular type of lubricant. And there will be mechanical engineers who will be seeing the stability of this particular product in times of high-speed motion. I mean, the thermal heat and external temperatures. Now, all this requires a very extensive kind of collaboration between academia, the concerned PSUs, the user PSU or the organization, and then this can become a sustainable life cycle kind of innovation cycle. There have been attempts. We have been doing certain innovations in that direction, but again, the rush to show an innovative product in the market before others can come in or the imported product can jump into the fray. We sometimes put untested or I will say, what I should say,
are not piloted. There is no successful prototype.
I mean, the life cycle testing has not been done. The accelerated life cycle testing.
But is there a key, sir, to accelerate this from academia side or from a collaboration between technology, spending on R&D, spending much on design?
I think this is a question of how we plan the innovation. If we plan the innovation for a long term, that if this lubricant is supposed to survive and market for next 20 years, then we will do all these things. But if we are putting it as a competition to another PSU or another global brand,
right.
Then academia will not go into these kind of long research cycle. They will give you a product, test it, reject it, and then try the another one.
Absolutely.
Our trial and the patience with the trials of these technologies has to sustain the funding, the time periods, the patience of people. People change, the innovation cycle also changes.
I don't know how true I am, but being program director for ease of doing business, a lot of people from industry, they come and they say that the testing facilities which we have in India are something where we need to put some more money to not to test and go somewhere else. Even a battery testing, sometime vehicle testing, sometime speed testing, lubricant testing, chemical testing, all of this we were highly dependent on other countries. So that is a space where we can work together. But thank you, very insightful, sir. This brings me to the impact of innovation. So when it comes to impact of innovation, definitely it brings a component of commercialization. This brings Mr. Saad to come into picture, that how when we are in a growing country like India and we are very consumer based, very user based, in that position, how do you make sure, or your solution make sure that people who are spending time, energy, mostly if you look at the example of petrol to metro, all of these are retail consumers, individual people, citizen. How does this all total up and add up to the commercialization, break-even, utilization of the expenditure which has happened on the tech or innovation or deployment?
With your due permission, Sinha sir, I would slightly digress and would like to give a different picture here. Since we are closely working with multiple PSUs, helping them automate their financial function, as I said earlier. While we are talking about adoption of latest technologies and innovations, and since these brings a lot of efficiency in the system, I would give you a picture wherein big PSUs today are ignorant on managing their financial function. And when I'm saying this with the complete responsibility. I don't know the reason behind this, but I am sure, and you would agree to my point when I say that financial function is the backbone of any organization, may it be a PSU or a government organization or a private organization.
We will have couple of follow-up questions also with us, but we have Mr. Manish and Amit Narayan ji and 𝗖𝗍𝗃 ji leaving us because they have some appointments. If they, I would request if they can spend some more time with us, or if they have very urgent meeting, then we will have to do farewell to them from the panel. But Saad, you will complete, sir. You will be able to stay for some time. Mr. Grover, Mr. 𝗍𝗃 and Amit Narayan, sir, we have received that you have a meeting, follow-up meeting after that, and we are running our sessions little late. Saad, coming back.
Just to wrap up, the critical point here is that though we're talking about a lot of innovations, a lot of technologies today, a lot of adoption of these technologies to improve our efficiencies at every level, the financial function for that matter remains unaddressed for various reasons. Today, before lunch hours only, I was talking to one of the PSUs and they said that we are struggling to manage our financial function, though they are supporting the defense sector. They're doing very good job, but they're struggling to have their financial function in place. And that's where we play a critical role. I think PSUs, apart from adopting latest technologies and innovations, have to slightly focus more on the financial functions also and statutory compliance.
So what type of focus? What type of change?
Focus in a sense that I think when I say that these organizations are still doing manual accounting.
Okay.
Can you believe so?
So let me take two people's perspective on it, and then I'll come back to you and then ask that how we can actually plant. Amit Narayan sir and Manish Groverji, both of you are oil PSU. Right now we are going through a phase of decarbonization. This requires a lot of capital to be invested to decarbonize, because source, if it is oil-based, fuel-based, it is highly dependent on the international oil market. When we have to do a source which is renewable, definitely all of you have convergence targets, and you are spreading, doing your version change from the fuel to renewable energy. Many of them, other than renewable PSUs who are there. But in this path of decarbonization, the capital which is required in India, it is said to be by 2070, if we are doing net zero, we will be needing $10 trillion to completely decarbonize a nation like this. This capital investment which is going to happen in this sector, particularly on side to find out a green and alternative fuel or green and alternative source, how are we going to meet this requirement or bring back these capital back, or by utilization of more to it, like say for an example e-highways or hydrogen mobility or electric mobility, electric trucks, logistic costs which we are planning to reduce. These all are capital intensive because they need to be sourced and powered by renewable, maybe from solar, maybe from hydrogen, or maybe from wind. So how are we going to plan payback or utilization for these solutions? Because citizens who have used metro, they will be using this now.
Okay, in this context, it's equally important that we are a country which is importing 85% of oil and 50% of gas. So in the short term, we don't need immediately an alternative, but yes, we have to go for the greener fuels, we have to go for the renewables. And most of the traditional oil and gas companies, whether upstream or downstream, they are making a huge investments into these spaces. So talking about ONGC, way back in 2012, when the vision document was made for 2030, it had an aspiration to generate 30% of the group revenues from non-E&P business, and mainly from renewables. And in the present vision document, that aspiration is to create the capacity up to 10 gigawatt by 2040. So we are already working into hydrogen and space, and the proportionate capital allocation is already being done. Because it's more important, because I'll just put one more thing in perspective. This World Economic Forum in Davos, which is a very high profile event.
Right.
There is one session which is very, very important. It is between the CEOs of all the global oil companies and the financial institutions, because this is considered to be a polluting industry, a dirty industry, increasing to the carbon emissions, and the investments are dwindling. And if this situation continues, the prices may go up because the capacities would not be built up. So a kind of critical balancing act in investment into the conventionals as well as the renewables is going to help the country and the globe as well.
To answer your question which you mentioned, in terms of our country and our company, they already defined a net zero target of 2046.
2046?
Yeah. It is for scope 1, scope 2 emissions to do net zero operationally by 2046. At the same time, scope 3 to be taken along with that. So 97% of these emissions which we are targeting and trying to decarbonize emanate from the operation side, which is in the refineries. So to tell you a number, we have a number of about more than 1 lakh crore rupees of projects which are under the ENCON categories, which will come in over a period of time, which will be taking care of the operational goals which we have set for ourselves. Now, your question is, how do I take back these investments?
Yeah, how does it come back?
Yeah, how does it come back? Now, what are these investments into? These investments are into, let's say, fuel change from Let's say today I fire my refineries from the naphtha to gas, 30% of the fuels change over to gas, and then changing to electrical drives, to changing to many such things. So each of these schemes which are being identified, each has been identified with a view to see what are the input cost and what are the benefits which are trying to derive out of that, and minimum ROI in the entire process, which is less than hurdle rate, 11%, 12%, we are trying to achieve out of that, either through a process optimization, the cost optimization, and the reliability of the entire thing. Because today, we as a company have to perform to make India go. And it will be the situation, as you rightly put, till 2040, we see that oil and gas for India, per se, will stay as a major fuel, and only thereafter, the things will start falling a bit. But at the same time, the transition is going on. We are into all the other sectors of e-mobility which are coming up, whether it is battery charging, we have done a JV. In terms of renewal, we have done a JV with NTPC. With a lot of hydropowers, we have done a JV with, recently with Panasonic will come in. We have done a JV with the Israeli company for aluminum batteries. So as we see the pathways laid out in the highways which are coming in, the new ROs which are coming, which are the Swagat ROs, the facilities which are coming up there will be multi-fuel facilities, which will be selling all my fuels, including green. And with that, the digitalization process which is going on to display all my green efforts which we are making. So the public at large sees that we are serious in terms of taking the steps, is going to increase the perception and the capitalization may come.
So digitization till the retailing is already underway.
Yeah, it is there. Yeah, and the entire business shifts from a physical business to an e-com business, as I see today, in a unified manner, to offer a B2B and a B2C in the similar platform, so that my products and services as a service are available to public, and I'm able to hyper-personalize each and every customer of mine. So there's a long-term plan in place, and all these projects which we are going to put in, whether it is in hydrogen, whether it is going to be 2G, 3G in terms of ethanol, or many such things which you are going to entail, because these are the areas where government is committed worldwide to bring down these numbers. And we are the ones who are going to bring
each
down.
one of them has a new technology, has a
It
new
is a new
cycle,
technology,
what we have
and
discussed.
all these will entail carbon credits.
Absolutely.
Ultimately, it will come to that point wherein we will be able to go into various other sectors like, alternate energy. If I look at, there are 7 main theme areas which are trying to work on.
Interestingly positive, sir.
Yeah.
So I think Mr. Saad must be happy that till retailing, the digitization of the entire framework to take a consumer, citizen, whoever is using that service of fuel is already underway. A quick closing remark from each one of you, absolutely in 1 minute, because we are completely out of time. Ma'am, we'll start with you. Absolutely 1 minute you can take your one line of prescription which you want from for your industry into the innovation.
Yeah. So I had left, in my first round, I had left a question to the audience. So maybe what we are thinking is that as far as innovation is concerned, we would like to set a benchmark, because that is not risky, of the last successful project, but the innovation in that point of view is little restricted. In second step, we will do a gap analysis, a frontier, or a point of research, and maybe we let the vendors know that this is the direction in which we want the innovation, so that we are in sync with the industries. At the same time, we'll be able to give startup or private sector or
so collaboration.
Collaboration, so that the innovation can be driven by the academia also. And thirdly, if the ministry is spearheading the innovation in metro, then better it is that we leave the core, because they have more competency, more people, more resources to carry out the research, while we concentrate on the non-core sector.
Competence, right.
Which is equally or more important. Because making a metro but people do not ride it, then the very purpose is defeated. We concentrate on walkability. We concentrate on the things like what are the essential component of transit-oriented development, or the state is only looking it as a medium of just giving FAR. how we preserve climate,
Ma'am,
so and so forth.
in the interest of time, it is very well precisely conceptualized.
Thank you. Two things which I want to highlight is
Quickly,
that
sir.
what we want institutionalization of innovation culture. So for that, the organization has to not only allow but promote and propel the people who are willing to innovate, so that freewheeling of idea can be discussed, that can be brought to the design desk. Subsequently, the leadership itself should be exposed to a innovation framework.
Absolutely.
So that a corresponding or consummate organizational consciousness, organizational efforts are devoted to the right direction.
The right comes in the culture from the top to bottom.
Yes, organization consciousness has to build about innovation and its benefit,
Very
so
good.
that people are devoting resources as well as working in the right direction. Ma'am has already pointed out number of options are available. Academia is one.
Right.
The startups are there, the large projects are there, the large firms are there. So with this, I conclude my remarks. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll just add to that. I think when we talk about innovation, we're talking about redesigning, we're talking about better designs, improvisation in designs, and which might entail redesigning of certain processes, and to facilitate and make life simpler. And when I'm talking about citizen-centric applications or citizen-centric services, to use better technologies, to use latest technologies, emerging technologies, to come out with solutions which are much simpler, easy solutions.
We wanted to become hub in electric mobility vehicle, and 3 months back we have opened first institute of EV designing in automobile. So I think it is now on the path what we are saying. Yes, sir. Thank you. Next.
I think as a company, we are heavily invested into innovations through our R&D, through our tie-ups, and what we have done with the stand-ups, the startups, and with the academia, then internally with our own people inside, with the change management, which includes a lot of idea melas, hackathons, promoting innovations, and on a regular basis rewarding them through all these techniques and bringing those ideas to life. And this has been giving us rich dividends, and going forward, the JVs, which we all talked about, they are the way forward. In almost every area we have gone ahead and done those things with us, whether it is Solar Alliance, whether it is whichever way, we are going ahead with innovations at everywhere.
Wonderful. Very less on the wish list side and very much on the promising future what we can expect.
So I'll just say a few things different because most of the things are covered. PSUs have to perform. They have to be updated through innovation. They have to stay relevant in the national context because they're in the core sector. And rightly said that we have to transform these Indian PSUs into global powerhouses for two simple reasons. PSUs give employment to roughly 2 million people, contribute to roughly 11% to the GDP, give close to 1 lakh crore to the government in the form of dividend and almost equivalent amount in the form of taxes. So they are very, very important from the national perspective and from the government perspective. So it's very, very essential that they perform and they stay relevant to the context through innovation, continuous innovation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So I think PSUs should kind of promote the culture of innovation and also focus on the competitiveness. Please compete with your peers, please compete with your global peers, right? And also kind of you would also appreciate that the PSUs having monopoly have not been doing well, right? So the competitiveness is important. I think culture of innovation will lead you towards that.
Quite important point you have added to it.
Sir, I would say that while all PSUs have been talking about adoption of latest technologies and innovations and cutting-edge technology adoption, I would request them all to on this platform to please also put in slightly more focus on the financial function, as I come from that background, and I want them also, since they are competing in the international market. So all the departments should be efficient enough to work in tangent with everyone, and since financial function, as I said earlier also, is critical to any organization, it has to be automated effectively to leverage upon the available capital, and decision making could also be faster in that manner. Thank you.
So with this, we have reached to the end of this wonderful conversation. I don't have time to sum up, but still wonderful inputs and insights came. By the time I hand it over to our host, a very warm welcome and very thank you can be conveyed to them with a round of applause to all our speakers.